Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Di, and today is the start of my January vlog. I think I am going to change this one up though, because as I've been thinking about what these little clips are, they really are diary entries. You don't follow me like you would someone else's vlog. I just basically check in once a week, maybe more if I'm doing something, and then let you know what I've been up to, what I've been reading, and things like that. So I am changing this series of videos up, and they are going to be Disis19 Diaries, because that's really what this is. It's a diary entry. It's me telling you what I've done, what I've read, and things like that. So not really a vlog, because you're not following me. I don't go out anywhere. Maybe once in a while you do come with me to the bookstore, but these really are diary entries, and they're diary entries that I'm sharing with you. So welcome to my first Disis19 Diary of 2022. So I did a bit of filming today, so I thought I'd come on and start this diary entry for you. And so I just finished filming my stats video for 2021, and they're soft stats, but the recording time on that video is about 40 minutes long. Apparently I can talk a lot about books and things, and that's what we're here for. And if I couldn't talk a lot about books, then obviously I don't think I could say that I have a love of reading, because there was a lot to talk about in that video. But I also just finished up my first section of my wrap-up vlog for January, because I've read 3 things. So what did I do with those books? They're right here in front of me. So I ended up wrapping up 3 things, and so I finished these 3 things. These are all carryovers from December though, so not really that great a feat, but I still finished 3 things, so that's great. So I finished Nightmare Hall, Volume 1, The Silent Scream. I gave this one 4 stars. I finished Sweet Valley Twins and Friends, The Magic Christmas by Jamie Suzanne. This is based on the characters created by Francine Pascal. This was a reread for me, and I loved it so much. Again, this 5 stars. And then I finished Kingdom Keepers, Disney After Dark by Ridley Pearson. This is the first book in the Kingdom Keepers series, and I rated this one, I think I gave this one 5 stars as well. I just really, really enjoyed it. So yeah, I finished all of those. Right now, I am just started Glory in Death by J.D. Robb. This is the second book in the In Death series. This one is a selection for my January Rotating Decks TBR. Like I said in that TBR video, the In Death series is one of my mom's favorites. And when I went to go ask her for this one, it prompted her to reread the entire series again. So that's what she's doing right now. She absolutely loves this series. She's read through this series, I don't know, 10 or more times. Every time I ask her what she's reading, she's all like, oh, I'm reading one of the books from the In Death series. And I'm just like, how could you love a series so much? There are other things to read. Especially because she works in a bookstore. But yeah, she just loves this one. I don't know what number she's on. I know she asked me to borrow her Conspiracy in Death from the library, because she couldn't find her copy. We do have all of them. I know we do, because every time we were at a used bookstore, we'd have a list. And I know that's one of the ones that we bought, but she can't find it. In any case, I borrowed her a copy. This is the second one. I wanted to do this one on audio just because I thought it would be easier for me. The text on this one is kind of tiny. You can see the margins are not very big either. But the only place I can get an audio copy is from Hoopla. And if you're familiar with Hoopla, they don't have chapter markers, which that's the only thing I dislike about Hoopla. I love everything else about Hoopla except the fact that the audiobooks do not have chapter markers, because that makes it difficult for me to listen to it and then switch to this physical copy, which is what I like to do. I like to listen to some of it. I like to read some of it and go back and forth and do it that way. I don't listen and read at the same time because I read faster than I listen. And so, yeah, if I listen and read at the same time, I get really frustrated because my eyes keep going, but the narrator is not fast enough for me to be where my eyes are, if you can understand what I mean. But I'm only one chapter in so far. I read this while I was waiting for the guy from the car dealership to stop by my house, because if you've watched these vlogs from me in the past, you know that at the end of November I bought out my lease. And so I was like waiting for my new car registration and, my new car payment, because it's being financed through a different bank. And yeah, by the end of December, I was like, I've got no car registration. I haven't gotten my bill for the bank. My first payment was supposed to be in January. And so I've been trying to get in touch with this guy, and he finally called me back and said, okay, well, there's a problem with the loan. They said that you don't need the gap insurance, which will cover the difference in the value of the vehicle if it gets totaled before your loan is up, because of how the economy is right now. Used cars their value have gone through the roof. And so they're worth much more now than what it was when I started leasing my vehicle. And so the bank said, no, she doesn't need gap insurance, because if she totaled the car, the value is more than what it was. So she doesn't need it. So they wouldn't process the loan with the gap insurance. So I had to re-sign paperwork for that. But because the dealership is far away, the guy did a home service. So he came out here so I could sign those papers. So while I was waiting for him, I jumped into that book. But yeah, this whole car thing is just stresses me out, because even though the little sticker on the front of my car says that I've got a temporary registration for 90 days, it's on the front of the car, not the back of the car, where the sticker on the license plate says her tags are expired when they're not really. So I could still get pulled over, but supposedly when the police officer sees that I've got a temporary registration, it should be fine. But that's not the point. I don't want to get pulled over. I don't want that to happen because my anxiety. In any case, I am glad that I work at home. I don't really have to drive anywhere. And hopefully if I do have to drive someplace, I can use the car that my mom drives, because that also is my car. So I have two cars. But I let my mom drive the other one because that one is paid off and she doesn't have a car. So she takes that one to work. And so hopefully by the time my new tags come in, it won't take too long. But yeah, apparently the loan needs to be processed first before that can even be sent to the DMV. And it's just a thing. So yeah, not a great way to start the year with a problem like that, but we're working on it and hopefully it'll get taken care of relatively soon. Speaking of waiting for things to come in the mail, because that's another anxiety that I have, is that my registration would have been mailed and it just doesn't get to me. Because I'm seeing a lot of that happen with our clients, where they're mailing stuff to us and it's just not coming. It's getting lost in the mail, or it comes 1 month later. The Postal Service just hasn't been very reliable lately. And so we did mail my niece's Christmas presents to Hawaii in December. If you watched my Vlogmas videos, you will know that I had knit my nieces a couple of Stormtrooper beanies for Christmas. And I sent those at the same time as I sent my dad's hand knit socks. My dad and his wife got their package. My niece's package is lost in the mail. So they were mailed at the same time, dropped in the same post box, but one made it to Hawaii and one is, I don't even know where. The Postal Service can't find it. And so supposedly if they can't find it by this coming Monday, which is the 10th, they're supposed to send us a $50 check. But yeah, you can't really replace hand knit items with money. So I'm going to have to probably re-knit those for my nieces, which is a bummer because, you know, I prepped for that. I made those and they're not going to get to them. And so, yeah, I'm a little bit bummed about that. But I don't know, maybe by the 10th, the Postal Service will be able to find that package. I don't have a lot of faith that will happen, just based on stuff that my clients have been dealing with the Postal Service. It's to the point where we're telling them, please don't put anything in the mail. If you can email it to us or fax it, that would be better because there's no guarantees that it'll get to us. That's how bad things are right now. And it's unfortunate that we are having to tell our clients that because a lot of them don't like to send stuff electronically. Yeah, it's such an unfortunate thing because a lot of our clients rely on the mail for stuff. A lot of people rely on the mail for stuff. And it's just not reliable right now. So I've had a couple things of mine personally get lost in the mail. And it's not great. But yeah. So anyway, moving on from unfortunate news like that. What have we been doing since the new year started? I've been working. We've been watching the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. So we've watched all of those. We've also been marathoning the Transformers movies. So now we've watched all of those except the Bumblebee movie, I think. I think that's the only one we have left. So we'll be watching that sometime soon. All of our normal TV shows have come back, so we've started to watch those. And yeah, that's pretty much all we've done. We've been playing a lot of video games. My daughter is replaying Fire Emblem 3 Houses. She's playing that right now, actually. You can't hear it because she's got her Bluetooth earpods in, but she's enjoying that. I'm enjoying playing Animal Crossing and Happy Home Paradise and still playing Gems of War. We bought Dead by Daylight over Christmas and we're terrible at it. Both my daughter and I have it on our separate consoles. And yeah, I need to carve out a little bit of time to practice Dead by Daylight because it's definitely a game I enjoy watching. We don't watch a lot of people play it, but we watch a specific Japanese gamer play it a lot. And sometimes some of the other Japanese gamers we watch also play. And so it's definitely a game I enjoy watching, but I am terrible, terrible at it. Oh, I knew going into it that I'd probably be better as the killer as opposed to a survivor, but I'm still really bad at it. Like the whole view movement is very strange for me. I am having a hard time with that, so I need to carve out time to play that a little bit more. But something that I want to try to work on for 2022 is hobby balance. I've talked about this in the past where usually one of my hobbies wins out over the others, and I don't want that to happen. You could definitely see from my stats when I was reading off my stats from my video that I filmed just before this, that reading definitely took up a majority of my hobby time in 2021. And I definitely didn't knit as much as I would have liked based on the number of things that I completed, including the sweater that I'm wearing right now. I didn't knit a lot of things, and if I did knit, I didn't complete a lot of things. So definitely want to complete more things in 2022 knit wise. I want to balance out my gaming and my reading and just kind of equal out the amount of time I'm spending on all of my hobbies, because I read a lot in 2021. It was a lot more than I read in 2020. But yeah, in 2020, knitting was the thing that I did the most. In 2021, reading was the thing I did the most. And I don't think gaming will ever be the thing that I do the most. But between reading and knitting, I need to even out that number. Or I want to, at least, because I don't like it when one of my hobbies takes over the other. I can do both at the same time if I listen to an audiobook, but usually when I'm knitting, I'm watching something on television. So, yeah. And if my daughter's around, I definitely don't want to be reading, because that's kind of ignoring her at the same time. And a lot of times, my mom, my daughter, and I will sit around and watch TV while we're eating dinner, and that's kind of the thing we do at night. We watch television together, or my daughter and I will play video games together while my mom's working. And so I find that with reading, it's a very solitary thing. You can't really read and, be social with somebody who's not reading at the same time. Do you know what I mean? But my mom and my daughter and I will be doing a family read of the Percy Jackson and the Olympians series and the Heroes of Olympus series this year. So maybe there'll be more reading time as a family and we can be social about it and, talk to each other about the books and things. That's going to be a new thing for us. And I'm excited to do that. So I should be starting that book this week, I think. But the daughter's back in school. They're still remote learning for right now. That has been extended to the end of this month. They were kind of hoping to get back on campus after the first couple weeks, but they've extended it another couple weeks. I've got my manga club meeting 2 weeks from now, and my dad is coming to visit next week, so 1 week from now. He's just gonna spend time with my daughter and myself at a mall. Originally, he wanted to have dinner together, because that's usually the thing we do. Whenever I'm home in Hawaii or whenever he's here, we just get together for dinner, talk, and that's pretty much it. But I am uncomfortable unmasking in a restaurant to eat still. Just with everything going on, I'm just uncomfortable. I haven't been in a restaurant to eat since early 2020, but we do still take out from restaurants to help support their business. So that's how we've been supporting restaurants we like to eat from. We do takeout. I'm just not comfortable unmasking in public. My coworker has gotten it. The big C word. Thankfully, we're not working in the office together, but her husband got it, and she got it shortly after. And yeah, a lot of my mom's coworkers have gotten it, and so I'm keeping my fingers crossed that she does not catch it and bring it home. But it's a thing that could happen. So far, we've been very lucky, but I don't want to press my luck by unmasking and going to a restaurant and eat with my father. So obviously, my dad is going to have been around a lot of people, having been on the plane in that enclosed environment, and then doing whatever else he's doing while he's here, because their main reason for coming here is not to see me. It's to gallivant and do other things, or we call it back home holo holo. He's coming to holo holo. So yeah, he's going to have been around a lot of people. I don't know who he's going to be around, and so I'm just trying to be as precautious as I can. So I asked my dad if we could not go to dinner together and just like walk around a mall and, catch up that way. I think that's probably a better way to catch up anyway, just because, at dinner, my dad and I don't really talk a lot. Like, I feel like we don't know how to talk to each other. And so this will kind of force us to talk to each other. Force him to talk to my daughter, because I don't think he knows how to talk to her either, just because, she's an adult now, and he hasn't spent a lot of time with her because we live in different states. We live an ocean away from each other, and she left the islands very young, so he didn't get to spend the time that he is spending with my nieces, which I'm glad he's doing that, but at the same time, I kind of wish he did spend more time making time to come visit me more often while my daughter was growing up. But that's not here or there. That can't be helped now. But, he's coming. He's coming, and we're going to catch up. And so we're going to walk around a mall, an enclosed mall. It's one that I visit often. It's the one where the bookstore, the Barnes & Noble that we do our manga club meeting is at. So, yeah. It'll be nice to see him and see what he's up to, hear what he's up to. And, so that's in a week. In any case, this has been a downer of a segment. But, life can't always be great. And the start of your year can't always be great. But I did finish 3 books since the year started. So that's great. And I'm doing really well with my reading. I'm enjoying playing video games. I have to work on a test knit. Finishing up that test knit that I've been working on for a few months now. I'm going to bind off the body this evening. And so then I only have to do the 2 sleeves. So that is a priority for me because that test knit is due in February. So I better get my butt off to do that, have some dinner, and do my guild war on Gems of War because that's happening this week. And so, yes, I will stop being so loquacious and I will chat with you later. Hi everyone, it is Saturday, January 15th, and I am here with a little bit of an update. So the last couple days, yesterday and today were a bit busier than usual. I think I told you in the previous clip that my dad was coming to the mainland, and so yesterday we met him just to catch up a little bit. We did head to a mall, and we walked around a bit and chatted while we were shopping. I did put some money into the economy, which was nice because I haven't actually shopped at a shopping center other than in Barnes & Noble for a really long time. And so, I do most of my shopping online nowadays, and so getting the chance to browse a brick and mortar shop and, spend some cash at those shops was nice. I may have spent a bit more than I should have, but that's okay. We picked up some graphic tees. My daughter picked up some graphic tees. I picked up some graphic tees. We got some candy from C's Candy, and we went to Bath and Body Works, and I picked up a few candles. And so, yeah, it was nice catching up with them, my dad and his wife, and just walking around the mall. My dad got bored while he was waiting for us to get out of Hot Topic, which is where my daughter was purchasing some shirts. And so he had found a little kiosk outside in the mall that had little, like, I don't know what you would call it, little electronic vehicle type things, like putt-putts. They don't go more than like 5 miles per hour, but they look like, I guess, those things that you see them drive in Tron, kind of. It was just like a little, like, I don't know what you call them. ATVs, maybe? I don't know. But him and his wife had rented one for like 10 minutes, and they were just circling the mall area where the kiosk was. Just like little kids. It was a little bit funny because never in a million years would I have thought that my dad would have gotten on one of those things and rode around, but he had a really good time. And so, yeah, it's kind of funny, you know, when you think about things as you're growing up and things your parents wouldn't do in a million years when you were younger, and then now when they're in their older years, they're like branching out and trying new things. And my dad's kind of having his second wind, I guess. Both of his parents have now passed, and he had told me early on that he wouldn't do anything until they passed. So that meant like living away from them, traveling excessively, and things like that. And the nature of where he lives, which I've told you before, is in Hawaii. You know, it's not like you can just drive to another state and spend like a day. You have to get on a plane, and it takes time to get someplace. And so he's going to be doing some traveling in the near future. I know he's got some trips planned already. He was telling me about those. And so, yeah, it was nice to chat and see him in person. I do talk to him on the phone rarely. I would say I talk to him on the phone maybe once or twice a year. We exchange text messages maybe 5 or 6 times a year. And that's about it. You know that my dad and I kind of have a complicated relationship, and we've kind of always had one. I don't know that he knows how to talk to me. But we're still able to carry a conversation. So that's nice. He definitely looks older from when I'd seen him in person last. I do get to see pictures of him from time to time when his wife posts on Facebook. But he's a lot whiter in the hair than he was the last time I saw him. His hair is a bit shorter than he usually wore it for a long time. But yeah, he's changing, and you know, I'm changing, and it was nice to have him spend some time with my daughter. And yeah, it was a nice time, but it was a really, really long day. I didn't spend more than, I would say, 2 hours with him. But we were out for the whole day, pretty much. And so it was a long one. And so, yeah, this morning, we had to make a rush stop to a library. And it's a library that is kind of far away from where we are because my daughter is taking some classes this semester, or this quarter. And we just found out it's going to be her last quarter, hopefully. And so that's exciting. And so she was able to tell my dad that she'd be graduating. And anyway, she had to order some books for her class. And I don't know, it's kind of weird. When I was going to college, we'd always get our class book list before classes start. But my daughter seems to always get them after classes start. So then there's this big rush to get the books, and then with supply chain shortages and things, sometimes the books aren't available, and so these set of books were one of those cases. And so we had found a used copy online through some company, and then they came in. She actually has homework that's due out of them, but when she opened the box, the label that was on the books, like they had packaged it, the label had said what she needed, as did the description on the website of what she needed, the ISBN number and everything. But when inside the plastic wrap was the wrong editions of the book, different ISBN. It's actually a set of 3 books. And so we had to rush to a library this morning to see if they had it, because the library book catalog had said that it was at this particular library. And so we went down there. Ends up that library also did not have the correct editions. And so, yeah, it was for nothing. We're ending up rushing shipping a new set of books from Amazon. Hopefully they'll be here tomorrow, because she does have homework out of them. But yeah, so we had gone to a library, and it was the first time I had been in a library. I would say it was about 2 years since I've been in a library. And so I figured, since we're going to be at a library, I'd look around. And the library actually ended up being a lot smaller than the one that we normally go to, or used to go to, when we visited the library regularly. And so I did find one book that I thought, I'll just bring it home, since we were borrowing her books anyway. She ended up borrowing the wrong editions of the book she needed, because there were some stories in those books that she was interested in reading, and so she ended up borrowing those. And so I thought, I'll just pick this one up too. So I picked up City of Villains. This one is by Estelle Laurie. And what caught my eye was the font on the spine, and then when I pulled it out, it looked like Maleficent. And so you know that I had recently read The Kingdom Keepers by Ridley Pearson, which has to do with Disney villains. And so I decided to open this up and read the summary, and it's the bottom over here. I won't read the whole thing, but the bottom paragraph says, Disney's villains meet a dark world in this gritty fairy tale inspired crime series that reimagines the origins of Maleficent, Ursula, Captain Hook, and other infamous Disney villains like you've never seen before. And that just hooked me. I thought, I'm going to borrow this. It's not very long. And so I am really looking forward to checking this one out. And obviously, it seems like it's going to be part of a series. Not quite sure when this book came out. Copyright 2021, so it is pretty new. But I've never heard anybody talk about this book, and that's something that I love about going to a library, is just browsing the shelf and, finding something that you've never heard of before, and this happened to be one of those things. And so I am really looking forward to reading that one. That particular library that I went to was self-service, so I actually ended up checking out or borrowing these books at the checkout myself. It was interesting. I thought I could just scan the book, and it was like, you did it wrong. And I was just I ended up having to put the book on the actual scanner thing and slide it under the scanner to scan the barcode. And that is what worked. I guess it takes into account the weight of the book. And it did a little after it like scanned the book. So yeah, I'm looking forward to reading that one. I guess I'll let you know where I am as far as my reading goes. Jeez, I told you it was a long weekend. And the weekend's not even over yet, but I am still reading Glory and Death by J.D. Robb. This is taking me a really, really long time. The first 5 chapters were a slog for me to get through. It took me like forever. I couldn't even read like a full chapter before falling asleep. And so, yeah, after the first 5 chapters, though, I got into it because they were getting more into the investigating, but obviously it's still a bit slow. So I am on chapter 16, page 223. This page has 296 pages, and then there is pages for the next book in the series, which I believe is Judgment and Death. It's moving along. There are definite things I don't like about this series or this book. One of them being the relationship stuff that's going on between Eve and Rourke, and some of the stuff that Eve's having to deal with professionally is not great either. But the investigation, the little details that are coming out as she's investigating, and there have been murders in this book, and I don't know, the case is interesting, but I'm not really like sold on the like couple aspects, I guess. So yeah, in fact, I'm at a section now where Eve's boyfriend kind of did something that it was just like, why? I guess I can tell you because it's not really like relevant, but she's obviously investigating this case, right? I think that's how all of the books in this series goes, where Eve is investigating a case. And she's like worn out. Her chief knows it. She looks it. She's just spending long, long hours working on this case every day. And so her boyfriend like takes her and they go to Mexico. And like she's like exhausted, so she passes out as soon as she like gets in the car. And next thing she knows, she wakes up and she's like, "Where am I?" And he's like, "Oh, I've taken you to Mexico." She's like, "No, like I'm in the middle of like investigating this case. What are you doing?" And it's things like that I'm just like, what? I don't know. Yeah, so I'm not sold on this couple, but the investigation and the details involved in this case are interesting. So yeah, I'm a little bit, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this series. Like, it's enjoyable enough that I want to know what's going on with this case and who did it, but, you know, half of this series is the relationship between her and her boyfriend, and I'm just not sold on that. So, yeah. Plus, there's a little bit of smutty stuff in here, which I just glance over. And so, yeah. I don't know. Like I said, the investigation is interesting enough. I presume the rest of the books in this series are kind of like that, where we're going to have relationship stuff, we're going to have investigative stuff, and I'm probably going to be more interested in the investigative stuff than the relationship stuff. Is it worth it for me to continue reading the rest of the series? I guess, because like I said, it's one of my mom's favorite series. I have been talking to her about what I've been reading as I read it, because I don't have to worry about spoiling anything for her. She already knows, like, this book, this series inside and out. And so, yeah. Until I can say I probably am not enjoying this series, that's when I think I'll stop. But for now, it's okay. It's not a bad read. I'm, like I said, interested in the investigation. How many times am I going to say that? But yes, that's what it is for me. The investigation is real interesting for me in that. And then I did start in on our family read of The Lightning Thief by Rick Riordan, first book in the Percy Jackson and the Olympian series. I'm on page 19, or chapter. I'm on chapter 19. I told you, it's been a long weekend. Page 300. And so this one goes up to page, there is an excerpt for the Sea of Monsters in the back here. And the Red Pyramid. Oh, so I must almost be done. 375. So I've got about 75 pages left. I'm really, really enjoying this. This is a reread for me, but it's been a really long time since I have read it. And my daughter also started reading this last night. And so, yes, I'm looking forward to talking about this one with my mom and my daughter. My mom hasn't started in on this yet, but she is a really fast reader. And so I have no doubt that she's going to be done in the blink of an eye. And so, yes, I think we're going to watch the movie after we read this one. I actually enjoy the movie. I know a lot of people don't, but I enjoyed this one and the Sea of Monsters movie. And so, yeah, we'll probably watch the movies after we read the books. And I'm looking forward to the new adaptation that's hopefully going to be coming out on the Disney Plus service, I think. At least I think there have been rumors of that. So, yeah, really enjoyed this. And I'm reading our newer copies, which have the newer covers on it. I think on my TBR video, my Rotating Decks TBR video, I showed our older copy that's all bust up. My daughter's actually reading that one. So, yeah, we have multiple copies. I also bought a copy of the audiobook, and so I've been really, really enjoying that as well. So other than that, I brought these things here to share with you. I talked about my dad. So when my dad came, he brought a couple of treats. And in those bags were a couple other things. Like, I always ask for certain things when he comes because they're not available where I am, or they're really hard to find, especially now with all of the issues that they're having with supply chain and just shipping and things like that. And so they added in a couple other things. And one of the things that caught my eye were these cups from Starbucks. And so this is a thermal, like, hot cold sipper cup. So you just twist the top here and there's your sippy thing, and then it closes up. But these are the Hawaii collection, and I don't go to Starbucks enough to know that they actually have collections for different places. And so when I do, I normally go to the drive-thru. I don't go inside. I don't look at the things they're selling there. But yeah, they apparently have a Hawaii collection of cups. And so you can see, like, there are, that is a turtle. It's a turtle right here. And so, yeah, it's got Hawaiian print designs. I know the glare is really bad, but there's another turtle right there. And so they brought us this. And then they also brought this, which is a sipper cup with a straw. I really, really like this one because it is teal in color. It is also the Hawaii collection. And this one has fruits. So it's your pineapple, and there's a star fruit, and some bananas, and a papaya. And so, yes, I really, really like this. And I think next time I go home, I'll be looking in Starbucks for some of these because these are awesome. So, yeah, I really, really enjoyed that. So the last thing I want to share with you is a book haul. I actually put in a order for some books off of Thrift Books. And it was for one particular book, but obviously one book can't travel on its own. And so I picked up a few more. But the book that I had made this order for was The Phantom of the Opera, Muppets Meet the Classics. I had no idea that this even existed. There's apparently another one that's the Grimm's Fairy Tales. Anyway, this is by Gaston Leroux and Eric Forrest Jackson. This one was published in 2017. So again, I'd never heard anybody talk about this, didn't even know that it existed. But The Phantom of the Opera has been something that I have been wanting to read for a while. I just don't have a great track record with enjoying classics, but I don't know, there's something about this one that's been calling to me for a while. And so I was looking for a copy to purchase, and I had seen this in the list of things that were available, and I was like, I have to have that. So this has been illustrated with Muppets inside, and the text has also been edited to include the Muppets characters. So like you can see here is Miss Piggy, and she plays the role of Christine. And then up here it says The Magnificent Mana Mana. So that is a song that Ralph sings. Mana Mana do 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 do. But anyway, in the text, the characters' names have been changed. So it says Monsieur Viscount Kermit de Chagny was deeply moved by the song of Piggy Die. At least I think that's Deshagny? Deshani? I don't know. But yes, the Muppets characters have been integrated into the story. And so I am really looking forward to this. It looks like it's in awesome condition. I mean, there's a little bit of wear and tear, but barely any at all. I did also pick up a copy of The Phantom of the Opera. I got the Word Cloud Classics edition because I do collect the Word Cloud Classic editions. And so I think what I'm going to do is read them side by side or simultaneously. So that's what I want to do with this. And so, yes, I am really, really looking forward to that. And I love the Muppets. I love the Muppets. And so then I decided to pick up a couple other things. I picked up Once Upon a Zombie, The Color of Fear by Billy Phillips and Jenny Nissenson. This one has been on my to-read list for a while. You can see that you've got these zombie girls down here on the bottom as well. And it says, when Caitlin Fletcher's mom disappeared or left 4 years ago, so did all the oxygen on Earth, or so it seemed to Caitlin. She's been dealing with anxiety, and her life takes a turn for the bizarre when she's climbing down a rabbit hole, landing in a wondrous fairy tale universe. Except it's crawling with savage, starving, blood-eyed zombies. Think Snow White, Cinderella, Rapunzel, and Sleeping Beauty. So I think that's them down here. But what's scarier, a bloodthirsty zombie, a panic attack, or the painful truth? And so, yes, I really love the artwork on this cover, and so it's been on my list to read for a while, and now they're starting to get really hard to find, and so I decided to go ahead and pick that one up. And then I picked up some fairy tale, or not really fairy tale, but like retellings. And so I picked up Fathomless, and I picked up quite a few from Jackson Pierce. So this is Fathomless by Jackson Pierce. This is a retelling of The Little Mermaid. And then I picked up Sisters Red, also by Jackson Pierce. This, I believe, is a retelling of The Little Red Riding Hood. Then I picked up Sweetly by Jackson Pierce. This one is a retelling of Hansel and Gretel. And then the last one from Jackson Pierce is Cold Spell, and this is a retelling of the Snow Queen. And so, yes, those are also more that I have been really interested in reading for a while. And then the last retelling I picked up was Roseblood by A.G. Howard. This is a Phantom of the Opera retelling. And so, yes, I plan on hopefully doing some Phantom of the Opera reading this year. I have actually seen the Phantom of the Opera on stage twice. It was one of the few musicals that came to Hawaii to perform, and I really, really enjoyed it. I was lucky enough to go twice. The other one that I had seen was Les Miserables. I am not yet ready to read Les Miserables. Every time I think about, okay, maybe I'll take a shot at it, I get scared. The size of that book and just everything that goes on in that story is daunting to me. But it is one that I have really great memories of watching. I watched Les Miserables twice also. Like I said, not very many musicals came to Hawaii to perform, and so when they did come, I was all over it. So yes, I saw both of those twice. Really, really enjoyed it. I'd have to say I probably enjoy the music to Les Miserables more than the music to Phantom of the Opera, but I have played bits and pieces of both soundtracks over my musical career, if you could call it a career, journey. And so, yeah, those two have fond memories in my heart. And so, yes, I think I'll tackle the Phantom of the Opera first and then see if I'm ready to do Les Miserables. I did want to read one classic in 2022. I always find it hard to read classics, like I said, and when I do read them, I'm not enjoying them a lot. And so I thought that this year would be my Phantom of the Opera year. That would be my classic. But I will be joining in on a group read of The Count of Monte Cristo later in the summertime. I think it's going to be in August. I'm jumping in on a group read with the Bookish Bryants. And so, yeah, maybe since I'll be reading that with a group, I'll be a little bit more successful. Maybe it's just that I'm not understanding what's going on. I don't know, but yeah, I feel like I do understand what's going on, but I still don't enjoy reading the classics. I have no knowledge of The Count of Monte Cristo. I've never seen the movie. I don't know anything about it. And so, yeah, maybe this one will be a better opportunity for me to actually get in and discuss a classic, especially because I won't be looking for things that I recognize because I don't know anything about The Count of Monte Cristo. But that one I think is also a really thick one, and I am a little bit scared, but we shall see how that goes. But anyway, I've yammered on long enough. I think going forward, I'm going to try to split these vlogs up into 2 parts, since that seems to be how it's been going for the last couple months. And so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to end this vlog here, and then I'll start a new one for the remainder of January. And then hopefully I'll get this one edited and posted sometime in the next week or so, and then do the last one for January sometime early February. So yeah, if you want to see more of the things that my dad brought me from Hawaii, let me know. Be glad to share with you some of the snacks and things that we enjoy. Or if you have any questions about any of the books that I purchased or borrowed or am reading, let me know. And I think that will do it for this section of the Disis19 Diaries. If you've made it this far in the video and would like to just let me know that you were here, if you could leave me a rose emoji down in the comments below. I think there is a rose emoji. If you could also like this video and give it a thumbs up, that would be greatly appreciated and would really help me out. And that will do it for me today. So I hope you're all doing great. I hope you're all safe and healthy. And until next time, take care and smile always. Bye.